what's up, everybody? It's been a while since we've been talking football on the show, so welcome back. It's going to be a fun episode today for all of you fantasy drafters. August is a month of fantasy drafts, so we're going to talk about top fives and then also steals and busts. I'll give one steal pick and one bust pick for each position in your drafts this season. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to talk about it. But first, let's head over and see what's up with the NFL. Okay, lots of contract extensions and some injuries to cover since it's been a while since we've been on the show. Chris Olave, wide receiver of the New Orleans Saints, signed a 4-year contract worth $132 million, $90 million guaranteed. So they have locked down their wide receiver one for the season. The Saints are going to be pretty exciting this year. They have Tyler Shuck coming back for his second year. They drafted Jordan Tyson, which sounds very promising. They picked up Etienne from the Jaguars to be their running back one. They also have Alvin Kamara, but I'm pretty sure Etienne is going to take over that job in New Orleans. But it's very exciting to have Chris Olave locked down in New Orleans for the next 4 years. Deebo Samuel is back with the 49ers. He signed a 1-year, $7 million deal to return to the 49ers after his little stint with the Washington Commanders. It's very exciting, and this is an injury-ridden team right now. Speaking of which, Ricky Pearsall has been ruled out for the entire season with a PCL injury. He will undergo surgery and miss the entire 2026 season. Mike Evans, they picked up in the offseason as well. He's banged up. Christian Kirk is banged up. Now I guess Christian McCaffrey is dealing with tightness, so it's a mess over in San Francisco. Kittle, who knows when Kittle is going to be back from his injury from last year? Could be October, could be as soon as week 1, week 2. We don't know, so the Niners are in a bit of a pickle, but it seems like Deebo Samuel is locked and loaded for the 2026 season. Stefon Diggs, we were all wondering what was going to happen to him. He signed a 1-year, $12 million deal with the Washington Commanders since they let Deebo go. Last year he had 1,013 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. So we'll see if he can continue that momentum with the Commanders with Jaden Daniels. Zay Flowers signed a 4-year, $140 million contract with 108 reportedly guaranteed. Zay Flowers is, of course, Lamar's wide receiver one, so they have locked him down for the next 4 years, along with Mark Andrews as those pass-catching options for Lamar. Jonathan Taylor, this was a pretty big one for the Colts fans out there. 2-year deal, $44 million, worth up to $47 million, and also includes $39 million guaranteed, so they have locked down their running back one for the next 2 years. These two running backs, we've been having question marks on when are they going to get a deal, and the deals have been done. So first, Bijan Robinson signed a 3-year, $66 million deal with the Falcons. It is worth up to $75 million and includes $51 million guaranteed. And then shortly afterwards, Jahmyr Gibbs signed a 3-year, $67 million contract worth up to $75.75 million. And include $51.5 million guaranteed. Basically, Jahmyr's like, hey, you see what Bijan just got? Give me a little bit more than that, and we're good. And Detroit was more than willing to do that. I think whichever one of these two teams were going to sign these guys first were the winners, and I guess the Falcons were able to get Bijan a little bit cheaper than what Detroit was able to do with Gibbs. But both guys well-deserved on these contracts, so they have locked down their running backs for the next 3 years. Most recently, Hunter Henry signed a 2-year deal worth $16 million and can get up to $20 million with incentives. It also includes $14.5 million fully guaranteed, so they have got their tight end one for the next 2 years at the least. And then Darren Waller yesterday signed a 1-year deal with the Carolina Panthers. No terms have been revealed yet on dollar amounts, but those are the most recent contracts. And then one more injury. Luther Burden III suffered a groin injury. He will miss the entire preseason, but he is expected to return in week 1 for the Bears. So Caleb Williams will be hopefully at full capacity in week 1, but he's at risk of losing one of his top wide receivers. And then the Vikings announced this week that Kyler Murray will be the starting quarterback of Minnesota Vikings in week one. We'll see how he does in the first few weeks, if McCarthy's going to have to step in or not. I have full confidence in Kyler to play a full season with Minnesota. Will they re-sign him? That'll all depend on performance, their record. Do they make the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Kyler Murray was the best option from what we've seen from McCarthy last year. He has a lot to learn. He has a lot to grow. Kyler is more veteran. He is more skilled, I think, on the ground, especially with his running capability. And he is a quarterback that will fit into the system, kind of like Sam Darnold did. He's still learning that system, but I think once the season goes on, he'll be successful in his role as quarterback. So that is what is up with the NFL right now. We'll talk about some more news next time on the show. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to head over to those fantasy top fives. All right, welcome back. We're going to jump into our top fives along with our steal and bust pick. So first up, we're going to do quarterbacks. At number 5, we have Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels, suffered, numerous injuries last year. So he had a bit of a setback, but he is full go ready. He's got Stefon Diggs now. He's got Terry McLaurin going. It's a little iffy at running back. You have Krosky Merritt there. They picked up Rachaad White. Tight ends, they have a couple decent tight ends. They picked up Okonkwo from the Titans. They still have Ben Sinnott there. But Jayden Daniels is going to rely heavily on his feet, his way to get the ball out of the pocket as quickly as possible. I think with Stefon Diggs, with Terry McLaurin, with the combination of tight ends that they have there, and whichever running back ends up winning the RB1 job, I think Jayden Daniels can be successful on your fantasy rosters. He definitely has the arm for it. He has the mechanics to make plays happen, even when they appear to be at doom's end. But I think Jayden Daniels is off to a very nice season this year. So he comes in at number 5. Number 4, Drake May, after his appearance in the Super Bowl. He picked up A.J. Brown. It's going to be a fun time for Patriots fans. It's going to be a fun time for Drake May fans. He comes in at number 4 prior to even the A.J. Brown trade. The A.J. Brown trade or the signing really just cements him in here as a top 5 quarterback. Even if they weren't able to get A.J. Brown, he was still going to be a top 5 quarterback for me, with his arm strength, his ability to read the field, the way to make plays happen on a whim. And he has decent pass catchers there already. They picked up Dobbs from Green Bay. They have Hunter Henry they just signed. You have a combination of Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson there at running back. So there's a lot of different options for him to get the ball out there. But with A.J. Brown, this solidifies him as a top 5 quarterback, and he's coming in at number 4 on my list. Number 3, it's Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar finished like quarterback 20 last year, but he was dealing with injuries. The whole team was dealing with injuries. But this year, they locked down Zay Flowers. They locked down Mark Andrews. They said goodbye to Isaiah Likely. They said goodbye to Harbaugh as the coach. But Lamar, I think, is going to get back to what he does. He's going to run a lot, which is fantasy gold with the rushing ability that he has. He has the arm to get it down to Zay Flowers, to get it to Mark Andrews. And he has the mechanics and the ability to read the field to make plays happen, just like all these other quarterbacks do in the top 5. So I think Lamar is going to have a very, very nice year this year. They have Derrick Henry there that he can dump off passes to. He can run to open up the field a little bit to allow that passing game to go through. So Lamar comes in at number 3. Number 2, Joe Burrow, baby. Now, I've really considered having him at number 1. But with the injuries that he has sustained pretty much almost every year of his career, it was tough for me to put him at number 1. But he comes in at number 2. He's healthy. T. Higgins is healthy and has signed. Jamar Chase has signed and is healthy. Chase Brown is coming off of an excellent year at running back. They have Gesicki there, who seems to just be a reliable tight end. He's not a sexy pick. He's not a superstar. But he's going to get catches. He's going to get end zone reads. But Joe Burrow, with his ability to rush, ability to make plays happen, and the fact that he has probably arguably one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver duos in the league with T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase. He is locked and loaded for a incredible year. When he's healthy, he is a top 3 quarterback, if not the best quarterback in the league when he is healthy, when the whole offense is healthy. Now, granted, T. Higgins is very prone to injury, but he still has Ja'Marr Chase there. Ja'Marr Chase is one of the best receivers in the game. He is fantastic, and he is that anchor for Joe Burrow to just make incredible plays happen. And it's going to be a great year for Joe Burrow. He's actually going to be my pick for MVP this year. The Bengals are going to be, I think, bouncing back really big this year in 2026. And then at number 1, Superman himself, Josh Allen. It's hard to not put him at number 1 because he's just a freak when it comes to fantasy. He just racks up points. He gets, at least 35 to 40 points a game. He has that rushing ability. He has the arm to make the plays through the air. He's able to get out of the pocket and scramble and make those plays still alive, even when they feel doomed. He's just a freak of nature when it comes to fantasy football. So he is going to be the number 1 quarterback that I have on my list this year. Looking at the steal pick for quarterbacks, I'm going with Tyler Shough. He is the 21st quarterback off the board, but I think with how they've built that Saints team with drafting the rookies that they did, with locking down Chris Olave, picking up Travis Etienne from the Jaguars at running back, and Tyler Shough really showed his ability to be an NFL quarterback and even a fantasy quarterback. There was a couple leagues where I had this start Tyler Shough last year, and he was decent. And he's coming in, way later in the drafts. But I think if you scoop him up and are forced to start him in bye weeks or injuries, I think he could be a steal of the draft this year, where he could be a top 15, top 12 quarterback if given the opportunity to do so. And then the bust pick. I'm out on the Eagles. I'm out on Jalen Hurts, so I'm going to go with him for my bust pick, a quarterback. He's the 6th quarterback off the board this year, and that is way too high for me. With losing A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith is a pretty decent wide receiver 1, but with injuries, with the unknown, with that wide receiver group, it's hard to say. The Eagles could just force feed Saquon Barkley, and that eliminates the passing production out of Jalen Hurts. The tush push hasn't really been as successful as it was recently. Defenses have been able to now come up with different plays to block it. But Jalen Hurts is my bust pick this year with the quarterback position. All right, let's move on to top 5 running backs. This one was pretty straightforward, I think. And you could probably guess all 5 of these, if not 3 to 4 of them already. But at number 5, James Cook. James Cook had an amazing year last year with the Bills as their running back 1. And I think he's just going to repeat it again. He's going to get the passing work from Josh Allen. They're going to force feed him the ball because he's productive on the ground. He's just a freak of nature when it comes to the red zone. If you hand it off to James Cook, 9 times out of 10, he's going to score. Especially if they're inside the 5, it's freaking ridiculous what he's able to do. So James Cook comes in at number 5. And I think with DJ Moore coming there at the Buffalo, it's going to open up that run game because they're going to be able to pound it with James Cook, open it up a little bit with DJ Moore through the air, and then they're just going to be able to force feed James Cook as well. At number 4, Jonathan Taylor. He's been so frustrating in fantasy because he'll have these games where he'll get 2 to 3 touchdowns in a single game, but then he'll not score a touchdown the next week, and it's just kind of a mediocre output. I think this year it's going to be a little more consistent. They have Daniel Jones back at quarterback, which he went nuts when Daniel Jones was at quarterback before the injury. And I think Jonathan Taylor is going to bounce back and just have a monster season this year with the Colts. Number 3, this one's a little risky, but I'm going to plant my flag with Christian McCaffrey. I know he's very injury prone. I know he had a monster year last year, which means he's probably going to have a very injury ridden year this year. I'm going to ignore all that because it's Christian freaking McCaffrey. He comes in at number 3. He's just a freak of nature. He's like Josh Allen. He's just built for football. You can hand it off to him. You can pass it to him. He can pass the ball for a touchdown if he wants to. This guy is just a Swiss Army knife of everything, and he's just fantasy gold. So I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey here at number 3. Now, this one was a little tough. I kind of went back and forth quite a bit with my top 2 running backs. You could probably guess the names. It's Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I ultimately went with Bijan Robinson at number 2 because I looked at the team as a whole. The Falcons have a quarterback problem. I believe Tua is going to be starting in the preseason and most likely going to be starting the 2026 season as their starter. But eventually, when Michael Penix is healthy, they're going to be forced to start Penix because he is that first round pick that they went with. But I know Bijan Robinson's still going to get you a bunch of fantasy points. He's going to get touchdowns. He's going to get pass catches. He's going to get rushing yards. Like, we're arguing number 1 and number 2, so it's not like avoid Bijan. That's not what I'm saying. But when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs, I think is just in a better position. The Lions, I think, are in a better position than the Falcons. Obviously, they have Jared Goff still. They have St. Brown. They have Laporta, who I think is going to have a bounce back year at tight end. Jameson Williams is a great wide receiver too. And David Montgomery is now gone. He's with Houston, so it's Jahmyr Gibbs. Bijan Robinson still has Brian Robinson behind him that is going to get some work taken from him, but Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a 100% workhorse back, and Bijan will too for the most part. But with that quarterback play, I think the touchdowns production is going to go way down this year. I think with Tua and Penix as quarterbacks are not great options. So I think they're going to be in really, really tough situations where they're going to have to hand it off to Bijan, and eventually the offensive line isn't going to be able to hold back the defense as much as possible. So Bijan won't be as productive because of poor quarterback play. And Jahmyr Gibbs obviously has great quarterback play with Jared Goff. So that's what it ultimately went down to, looking at the offense themselves. And that's how I ended up picking my 1 and number 2. So Jahmyr Gibbs at number 1, Bijan at number 2. But honestly, you can, if you really, really believe in Bijan, you can take him as your first running back or your one-on-one in the league. I mean, this is just my opinion. I just think Jahmyr Gibbs is set up for success this year. Looking at the bust pick for running back, this hurts me, but I'm going to go with De'Von Achane. He's the 5th running back off the board, which is very expensive for me with the state of the Miami Dolphins right now. They have Malik Willis at quarterback, who's a decent quarterback, but they have nobody there other than De'Von Achane. Like, I didn't even name you a single person other than Malik Washington at wide receiver, and I'm not really that familiar with Malik Washington either. So it's Malik Willis and it's De'Von Achane. That is it. Mike McDaniel is gone. He is now the OC for the Chargers. It's a completely rebuilt coaching staff. It's a completely different team. It's just a mess there in Miami. So I think because of the production capability of this team as a whole, De'Von Achane, I am out on Achane this year. So that is my bust pick. My steal. When I saw at what spot David Montgomery was going at, I was like, he is 100% my steal pick. David Montgomery is the 23rd running back off the board, and I think he can be a top 10 running back this year. So if you are able to scoop up David Montgomery late in your drafts, or if you want to reach a little bit, go for it because I think it's going to be worth it. I think he can easily be a top 10, top 12 running back this year. I know he has Woody Marks behind him, but the Houston offense, it looks like it's going to be better this year, especially that offensive line. They've done a little bit of work on strengthening that up. I think C.J. Stroud's going to bounce back this year. They got Nico Collins there. They have Jaden Higgins there, who's going on another year, getting acclimated with the system. But I think David Montgomery is going to be that 100% workhorse back, just like Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think he's going to be a steal of the draft this year. So my steal pick, David Montgomery, bust pick, De'Von Achane at running back. Wide receivers. This one was a little tough on how all these broke down, but this is what I ultimately came up with. Number 5 is A.J. Brown, who was signed with the New England Patriots. He is going to, like I talked a little bit about with Drake May, he's going to elevate this offense exponentially. They were great last year. They made it to the Super Bowl. They made a nice run through the playoffs. They get to the Super Bowl, but A.J. Brown was that piece that they were missing last year, and he is going to ball out with Drake May. So he is my top 5 pick this year. Number 4 is Justin Jefferson, and with the Kyler Murray news, this is locked and loaded where he's going to be for me at number 4. I think Justin Jefferson is going to bounce back immensely this year. I think he was the wide receiver 22 last year, but that's because of poor quarterback play. With Kyler Murray coming in now, I think this offense is going to look way better. They picked up Juwan Jennings from the Niners. They have Jordan Addison there. As long as he stays out of trouble, I hope to God. They have Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones on the ground to rotate through. And they have TJ Hawkinson, who is aging, but he is a reliable tight end for Kyler Murray. So I think this is going to be a big bounce back here for the Vikings, especially with Justin Jefferson. So he comes in at number 4. Number 3, Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think the Seahawks are going to just regress naturally this year because they are coming off the Super Bowl. They're coming off their best year that in Seahawks history that I've seen in a while. And Jackson Smith-Njigba is just coming back from an incredible, insane year. So just how football works, naturally, he's going to regress a little bit. So he comes in at number 3. He's locked and loaded, the wide receiver 1. He's got Sam Darnold there again. They're going to ball out together, but he comes in at number 3. Number 2, Puka Nacua. Now, there's rumors going around that he could have some possible suspension coming, but either way, the Rams are going to be insane this year. They picked up Myles Garrett. They could potentially be getting Darnold back if he works out, if he feels healthy. Donald could come back on defense. But this offense pretty much looks the same. They got Kyron there, Blake Corum there on the ground. You have Devontae Adams. Matthew Stafford is going to sling it one more year. We'll see if he retires or if he's one bad injury away from retiring. But if Stafford can stay healthy, Puka Nacua is going to eat. Devontae Adams is going to eat. And with the state of the Rams right now, Puka Nacua is locked in at number 2 for me. At number 1, Ja'Marr Chase. He's actually my 101 this year in fantasy drafts. Now, I know not everybody has the same settings, 3 wide receiver sets, 2 wide receiver sets. But with the state of the Bengals right now, I'm willing to bet my money on Ja'Marr Chase outscoring Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson this year. So that is why he is my 101. I'm taking him wherever I can get him. He is going to ball out this year with Joe Burrow. With T. Higgins healthy, it alleviates some of that pressure off of Chase and allows him to open up onto the field. But he is going to have an incredible year this year. So he is my number 1 wide receiver, and he's my number 1 fantasy pick this year. He is my 101. Steal of the draft. We're going to go with DJ Moore. A lot of people are really down on DJ Moore going to Buffalo. And look, I get it. He went to Carolina. He came from Carolina. Wasn't great. Went to Chicago. He had some pretty decent games, but it wasn't what we expected. Well, honestly, that coaching staff, I don't think either didn't know how to use him or didn't want to use him. I think Buffalo and Josh Allen are going to use DJ Moore to his strengths, and he's going to bounce back and be an incredible wide receiver. And he's linked to Josh Allen. I know Caleb Williams had a really good year last year, but he's not Josh Allen, and Josh Allen has nobody. Caleb Williams had Luther Burden. He had Rome Odunze. He had DJ Moore. He had Colston Loveland. So it's a lot of mouths to feed. There really isn't anybody in Buffalo aside from maybe Dalton Kincaid and James Cook, of course, dumping off those passes. But DJ Moore is going to be the number 1 guy for Josh Allen passing game over Dalton Kincaid, over Shakir, over Coleman. He's going to be the dude. Other than James Cook, he's going to take all those targets up. So I'm going with DJ Moore. He's this 27th wide receiver off the board. I think he is one of the biggest steals in the draft, not just at wide receiver, but in the whole draft in general. Especially if you can get your hands on Josh Allen, the stack with DJ Moore, I think, is going to pay off immensely. It's going to be almost up there with the Burrow and Chase stack, I think. Bust pick, Rashee Rice. He's the 9th wide receiver off the board. Now, with some of the injury stuff going on, he's probably a little lower now, but it's too risky for me. With the jail time, with the injury, with the surgery, I'm out on Rashee Rice, and I'm honestly out on Mahomes. I would take Kenneth Walker and maybe Travis Kelce late at tight end, but that's about it. I'm not going to be taking anybody else on the Chiefs this year. It's just too many questions, too many risks going on, and Rashee Rice is a big, big risk for me. I'm out on Rashee Rice, so that is my bust pick this year. Moving on to the tight ends, this will be fun. Number 5 is Kyle Pitts. Now, I know the quarterbacks are very disgusting in Atlanta with Tua and Michael Penix, but Kyle Pitts showed last year with the bad quarterback play again that he can be productive. He's a monster on the field when given the opportunity. With the very small amount of options there on the offense, I think he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver on this team. Drake London's obviously going to get his share of the targets. Bijan Robinson's going to get those dump offs. But who's their wide receiver 2? Probably going to be Kyle Pitts. So I'm willing to push my chips on Kyle Pitts. If I can't get Brock Bowers or Trey McBride, I'm going with Kyle Pitts. It's tough with Warren and Loveland. Like, I really like, which I'll talk about here in a second, but where those guys are going, I mean, you could say that with all 4 of these guys above Pitts. There's running backs and wide receivers I'd rather, put my chips on than a McBride or Bowers. So I'm willing to wait a couple more rounds and get Kyle Pitts, and I think he's going to be paying off. Number 4, Tyler Warren. Where he's going, it's a little tricky for me. I haven't been able to get as many shares as Warren as I want to because, like I said, there's those running backs and wide receivers there that I would rather scoop up than Tyler Warren and just wait a little bit. But if you are a little more trigger happy with tight ends, I think Tyler Warren is going to be a smash pick this year. Again, kind of the same situation as Kyle Pitts. Alec Pierce seems to be the wide receiver 1, but he's been dealing with injuries. So who's the next target? Is Tyler Warren. But I think even if Alec Pierce is healthy, I think Tyler Warren is going to be the number 1 wide receiver on this team for Daniel Jones, other than Jonathan Taylor. He'll obviously get some dump offs. But I think Tyler Warren's going to be the focal point of this offense. So he's coming in at number 4 for me. Number 3, Colston Loveland. Same thing with Tyler Warren. I think he's going to be the focal point of this offense. Like, I get it. Rome Odunze is really good. And now Luther Burton with the injury and DJ Moore now off to Buffalo. I think Loveland could be the number 1 target for Caleb this year. And that's why he's at number 3 for me. He showed a lot of promise last year, and he was very productive last year with all those mouths to feed. Now, without DJ Moore, with Burton hurt, it's really just Colston Loveland and Rome Odunze. But I think Colston Loveland will be the number 1 target for Caleb this year. So he comes in at number 3 for me. Number 2, Trey McBride. It's tough with McBride, with the quarterback, with Jacoby Brissett and Carson Beck there. And with this offense, this is a team that could easily go 0-17. It's very, very discouraging to pick up McBride, but he's the focal point of this offense. Whoever it is, Carson Beck, Jacoby Brissett, the game plan is going to be just like give it to the Italians, except it's going to be give it to McBride. He is going to have so many targets, so many receptions this year. He comes in at number 2. And the only reason why he's not number 1 is because we have Brock Bowers, who is just a animal on the football field. He's essentially a robot. He was bred, he was born to play football, and he's just a freak of nature. So Brock Bowers comes in at number 1. Again, same thing with McBride, same thing with Kyle Pitts, same thing with all these guys. Who is there to throw the ball to? Ashton Jeanty and Brock Bowers is basically it. The Raiders wide receiver 1 is probably going to be Jalen Naylor, who they scooped up from the Vikings. Not great. And with Kirk Cousins supposedly going to be the week 1 starter, it's not looking good. But Brock Bowers is just going to make magic happen no matter who's throwing the ball to him, whether it's Cousins or whether it's Mendoza. Brock Bowers is just a freak of nature and just a football robot. So he comes in at number 1. The steal pick for tight end this year is Isaiah Likely. He's the 17th tight end off the board. He's going to the Giants. He's with Harbaugh. Again, the Giants, without Malik Neighbors, who else are they going to throw it to, really? They're just not a whole lot of pass catchers there. So I think Isaiah Likely is going to step in as that wide receiver 2. And if Malik Neighbors isn't ready to go or re-injures himself, Isaiah Likely could be the number one target, and he seems to be having a really good rapport with Jackson Dart during camp. So I'm going with Isaiah Likely. You can get him really late in the drafts, but I think he could easily be a top 12 tight end by the end of this year. Bus pick, Oronde Gadsden. He's the 9th tight end off the board. With them signing David Njoku and the way that this Charger offense is looking out to be during camp, I'm not taking Gadsden. I'm out on him, especially with that price. I'm just out. There's just too many unknowns, too many rests. I'd rather take some other tight ends or late round running backs or wide receivers at that point. I'm out on Gadsden. It's just too many unknowns. So that is my bus pick for the tight ends. Couple of bonus picks here, and then we'll just kind of wrap up the show. Now, I know not a lot of people use kickers or defenses in their leagues, but if you do, my number one kicker this year is Evan McPherson for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities to kick field goals. He's going to get those extra pointers, and he's just good. He's really good. He's my number one kicker that I'm targeting in these drafts. And then defense, I'm going with the Rams. With them picking up Myles Garrett and then potentially getting Donald back, the Rams defense is going to be insane. So I'm targeting the Rams defense in fantasy drafts this year as my number one defense. So I think that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you for joining in if this was your first time. And we'll be back next time. We're going to kick off our Division Warfare episodes eventually. But before that, we're going to we're going to have a mock draft live on YouTube on August 21st, 6 p.m. Central. I already posted it on the social media accounts. I'll throw some more ads out there for you guys to remember. But we are going to do a live mock draft. This has never been done before. They've always been pre-recorded, but we're going to do it live on YouTube Friday night on August 21st. If you want to join in and watch it live, you can, of course, watch it afterwards if you're not able to make it the live streaming. But then we'll start diving into the Division Warfare. We'll do the AFC, and then we'll do the NFC. And then football's almost here, guys. We're going to do our pre-week 1 episode where I give you my picks, what I think is going to happen in week 1, and we'll kind of just wrap up everything. And then after that, each week, we'll get into those reactions. So we're going to go back to an every week show like we did last year. So lots of fun. Football's almost here. We're only a few weeks away. Preseason games start tonight. And we're going to react to those, of course, on the next episode of the show. So it's going to be great. Enjoy you guys this weekend. You can watch the show every week on YouTube and Spotify. And you can also listen to the audio version on whichever podcast you deem worthy. So with that, later, everybody.